and then we'll turn it over to the media.
First and foremost, Coach Fitch, Ouachita Christian, what a battle, as it was 2 years ago. Just two teams that get it, do it the right way, respect each other, play the game, and what a barn burner, man. Score doesn't indicate obviously what it ended up being. Me, myself, just grateful. That's been the message all day to these guys. Be grateful. Result aside, if this was a win or a loss, it didn't change the amount of gratitude I have in my heart for the community, for these players, for the faculty, staff, admin, everybody that picked up slack this week. What an experience. It's been a heck of a week. The last 48 hours or so have been as picture perfect as they could be, and these guys deserve this. They do. This has been 4 years in the making. This has been a process. We've been trying to kick this door down for 5 years, and we finally blew it open, and I couldn't be more proud.
Hey, again, when you have a question, raise your hand, I'll bring the mic. Questions?
Coach, you talked about it for yourself, but what does it mean for you for the senior class and especially, of course, the kind of star elephant in the room here, Jonathan D'Artes? What is your talk about your connection with him and growing with him over these last few years, and what this means, how important it is for you to feel like he was able to do this, and for the entire team to be able to do this.
First question with the seniors. There's a reason those 12 guys went and grabbed that trophy. The example that they have set this year and how they go about work, how they execute the little things. The list is endless, and I'm not going to get into it, but exactly how young men should be, the way they handle themselves. So to those seniors, they couldn't have done it any better. They couldn't have handled themselves any better throughout the entirety, really, of their careers. And for this guy right here, I'm gonna keep this short and sweet because there's no possible way I can keep my composure talking about this kid. One is one of one. There is not gonna be another guy come through our hallways that has that kind of competitive fire. And I hope there is, but I don't foresee it. I've watched it for 4 years. I go back to ERAP 36-34. That's when we knew. That he was going to be our guy for a while. And records aside, numbers aside, 47 times in a state championship game. But that's unbelievable. He deserves this.
Hey, Coach in the back. When we talked to you earlier this week, one of the main things that you were speaking of is putting 2022 in the past, not really focusing on that game and keeping the main thing. How are y'all able to get that established so easy on in the week and make sure to really execute when it came to today?
Yeah, I can bring this up now. 2022 played a huge role in this game, not because it was Ouachita Christian, but those guys, that senior group, and I'm not going to go into names. I hope they know I'm thinking about them right now, and I don't want to forget one. But they showed us the way. I asked John, middle of the first quarter, this one feels different, doesn't it? And then that was because we had been here. It was because we knew kind of what the path was and what it was going to take and the kind of focus and attention it was going to take to execute the things we needed to execute. And the game itself stood on its own, but those 2022 groups had a lot to do with this thing.
Well, Harry, nice to team. John, what was it, 43, 47 runs that you did here in this previous game? I was watching the fourth quarter. Your linemen were picking you off of the ground. That's how tired you were. How tired are you, and how well will you sleep tonight?
I'm still very tired, but I mean, with a win, it's not that bad. Sleeping tonight, I think I'm gonna sleep pretty fine tonight, knowing that we gotta win it.
Jonathan, right here, Marcus Fitzpatrick, KTC in Lafayette. Just to know that you were part of the team 2 years ago that didn't finish the job and to be able to get it done here, how redeeming and how good does it feel, especially with how things ended last year?
Yeah, it's very satisfying, to play your last high school game with a win, especially since 2 years ago, we lost to the same team. But shout out to them. They're a very good team. They're very sound, very disciplined. And, I couldn't have done it without my O-line, without my receivers.
Question.
Brian Hancock, WTO 91.5 FM here in New Orleans. You bring up 2022, and I've talked about this with people that been in this situation, not just in but in football, but in baseball. It's like you get so many bites of the apple And when you finish off that apple, what does that feel like? Like, what does that feel like? Because I know you all said, you guys were down 14-13 at one point. And then it just felt like, oh my God, this is slipping away. And then you guys just came alive in the second half. But what does that feel like when you finally finish off that apple? Because you can only get so many bites of that apple in a 4-year career.
It feels really good for us as a senior class. This is where we want to be. When we started back in June, or we actually started in January in the morning, some of us, and we said we wanted to be here our last game here and finish it off strong. So it means a lot to us as a senior class to be able to do that.
Question.
Coach, first off, congratulations for any George Peppers. Congratulations on winning the state championship, righting the wrong that happened 2 years ago. Losing to them and getting your revenge. But Jonathan, I want to come to you. What did you see in that defensive line today that allowed you the opportunity to do what you did today?
Yeah, I'll just say, they're very aggressive. They're very sound, very disciplined. But yeah, I mean, we knew who we got for our offensive line, and I knew the competitive spirit of Jackson and Doobie and Gabe, and Allen. All of them. They want to win just as much as I do. So I'll take our guys any day.
Coach, this is directed for you. This season has been an effort to win and survive with less than 30 players on your roster. If you could pinpoint one theme to this success in the season, what would it be? What was the point?
Consistency. I've said that word probably for 15 weeks, but I very much believe in it. It is one of the hardest things in the world for a teenager to be is consistent. And sometimes that's not their fault. That's the reality of life. But these guys, these four right here, I knew what I was getting from them every single day, in every single moment, and even more from them in the big moments. So consistency has really been everything. You can't get more consistent than what these guys were able to do this year. Question.
Coach, I know how tough this bracket really is from top to bottom and going through it and having a really tough season overall and just find a way to go undefeated through that season. Just being able to finish the journey right, where does this team rank in terms of a great program like Vermilion Catholic, and where do you think these guys would rank when it's all said and done, you look at the history books?
Yeah, I know they're in the top three. So we'll leave them there. I'm not having that debate, but right now in terms of units I've coached, this has been pretty special, pretty rewarding. They've gone through so much. They've gone through a lot of heartbreak to get to these moments, and they lifted each other up today. One of the most complimentary games of football we've played all year. The defense, man, the defense. So many times one has been able to pick us up in moments of need, but that defense picked us up all night, and that you can't ask for more as a head coach.
Coach, on the subject of your defense, I mean, right there at the end of the game, they're driving. It's looking like they might be able to put it together and get a touchdown. You guys come so close to having an interception, and you do seal the interception. What does that say about the resiliency of this defense? I mean, they drove almost the whole field.
We trust them. We trust them all year long. They might not like me hearing me say this, but all year long, teams have been able to get some yardage on us. And all year long, teams have been able to find that 20-yard line. But from the 20 in, man, these guys claw and scratch, and they lock in, and they find ways to make plays. We saw it against Kentwood. We saw it against St. Ed's. We've seen it all year long. It's almost like it's their comfort zone. So yeah, obviously you're staring at the clock, and you want one of those seconds to melt away. But there is such a level of trust in what these guys are able to accomplish in those big moments the closer the goal line gets. So I don't think they were nervous. I think they knew that somebody was going to find a way to make a play.
Coach, whenever you saw your defensive back get the interception, take it the other way, you see the eruption coming from the sidelines and the stands, what was the first thing that kind of just went through your mind?
What a game. I don't have enough perspective on it yet. Watching Caleb race down the sideline, I want to say my first inkling was to look up at that clock and say, are we good? And if they get near you, get your butt out of bounds kind of deal. But he seemed not to be denied. Those guys were tracking down with him and laid some blocks for him. to seal that thing off. But it's a surreal moment when you recognize that the thing the guys you love in this world have fought so hard for, that they achieved it.
Quick question for John. Can you talk a little about the Legion and how they got you here?
Oh yeah, I mean they would do everything for me, you know, and we always have each other's backs, you know, especially like during practice, you know that we're gonna have a good game if you just watch them practice, you know. Just everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone can, you know, identify the backers very easily. You know, it's one of the smartest group of young men I ever played with.
Question right here.
Coach, how does being here as a player and winning as a coach compare?
It doesn't. It doesn't. Super special memory back in 03. Tears on that dome floor for so many reasons. I love all the guys that were involved, but if I'm being very upfront and honest, as a coach, there's an amount of emotion and reward that is far greater than that, and incredibly grateful again.
All right, Coach, I'm gonna let your players get a final comment. If each one of you will speak into the mic and give your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm just so proud of this team and the group of guys. That last play, that was for the seniors. They're such good leaders, and I just wanted to make a play for them and for this team and for our community.
It feels good. We've been working at this, like I said, since January, right when we football ended last year, and it feels good to really accomplish what we wanted to.
Mr. Cortez, you go last.
I'm just so happy to be here. It's like we finally did it. It's like a weight lift off your shoulders. It was really close. We were kind of nervous on the last drive, but we just have trust in our guys to be in the right spot at the right time, make the play. I just want to say that I'm so happy for the 4 years that